So I've been using the Gregory Zulu 30 for about 6 months now, on and off. I've used it in the winter, I've used it in the summer, and I can confidently say that this is a great all-around backpack that I think will be the best fit for most people looking for one backpack to kind of be their only backpack to have for all season hiking. It's sort of, I've been thinking of it as like the Ford F-150 of backpacks, right? It's not the best backpack in the world, but it's a darn good backpack that I think will work for most people. In this video, I'm going to walk you through why I think it's a great backpack for most people. I'll show you some of the features, what I liked about it, what you could do better, and I'll just go over too, like, is this the right backpack for you quickly? You know, maybe there's a better fit for you and you don't need quite so much capacity. Now, as you're watching this video, if you're finding it enjoyable, if you click that little thumbs up, helps me out a ton. And if you end up buying anything from Amazon or REI, just use the links under this video. You don't have to buy this specific backpack. You can buy anything as long as you do it right after you click. That helps me out a ton too, so thank you for that. And that's how I'm able to buy gear like this and test it out and make these reviews. I've not been sent this or paid by Gregory or by anyone. These are all independent reviews. So let's start off by talking about whether you actually need this backpack. Now, this backpack is you know, around 30 liters. It's on the bigger end of a Daypack, or what's considered a Daypack. And what that means is you have plenty of room in there. Now, if you're not hiking in 4 seasons and you're just hiking kind of in nice conditions and you don't need all that room, you don't need to bring maybe a puffer jacket and stuff that you would need for the winter, or like a heavy, you know, whatever, heavy layers. You're just bringing your essentials and maybe a rain shell, maybe some snacks. You probably don't need a pack this big. If that's the case, I would recommend a smaller pack like this Osprey Hikelite 18. It's small, it's comfortable, it's lighter than the Gregory, and it fits all the essentials. And I use this almost all the time unless I really need a lot of stuff in there. It's 18 liters and it works really well. So just something to consider. I have a video on this pack on my channel as well. So if you don't think you need all of that room, the Hikelite 18 or something smaller might be a better fit. All right, now with all that out of the way, let's talk about why I think this is a great pack. Now, for most people, this will be the most comfortable day hiking pack that you can find for the weight. There are some other comfortable packs that are a little bit heavier, the Mystery Ranch ones, but I think for most people, this will be the most comfortable pack. It's the way that the backpack and the back are cut, among other things. It doesn't dig into your back. And I have friends who have problems with some of the Osprey models, which are good, but if the Ospreys don't fit your back exactly, they can dig into basically your tailbone or the sides and shoulders. This, I didn't hear that complaint from anyone who's tried it. I have friends who swear by this. So that's one thing, is the cut. The other thing is that it is adjustable, and you can see right there that we can adjust the straps, move them up and down. It also comes in different sizes. So you can basically tweak this to be perfect for your body. There's also straps up top here where you can lift the load up, and you know, generally you can make this adapt to wherever you want it to fit on your back, whether a little bit higher, lower, in the middle. Great in terms of sizing and adjustability. In addition to that, the padding is great on the shoulder straps. It's really beefy padding here, and it's comfortable. It never pinched my back, even when I had this really jammed up with stuff. Never pinched the back at all. Great. The number one thing I think is the best in terms of comfort is this trampoline back, and you can see there's space in between this trampoline part and the backpack. And what that does is it keeps the backpack off your back. It keeps it vented, so if you are working hard, if you're going up a climb and you start to sweat, you don't get that big wet stain on your back, which sometimes if you really get wet, it'll go down to your pants. It's just not fun to have a backpack that's on your back. This trampoline is a great addition in all conditions. So, and there is a frame in here holding this trampoline up and also giving the backpack frame. So there's like a little bit of an internal frame. Now, the one thing that I could take or leave are the hip belts. Now, some people like hip belts. I think on a day pack where you're not carrying a lot of stuff, a hip belt, which is meant to hold this on your hips and sort of displace the weight from your shoulders to your hips, isn't really a big deal. I don't mind carrying a lighter weight on my shoulders for a day pack. It's almost overkill to have this. It is one piece, as you can see here. and it is comfortable. So if you do have to wear it, if you don't want to wear it flush on your hips, you can just leave it a little bit loose, and it's comfortable enough. I didn't really notice it. It didn't bother me so much. So nice option. I wish they would have offered an option to take this off, but they don't. But anyway, it's there if you need it. So comfort on this is excellent. On the downside, in terms of comfort, it's probably a little bit heavier than it could be. I know there's always a question of like balancing the price point versus the comfort, but I think you could offer, Gregory could offer another version of this, maybe where you could remove the hip belts that had lighter weight materials for the actual pack, and maybe like a carbon fiber frame on the inside, and shave a pound off of this, and then it would be really, really killer, I think, for a lot of us. So, but again, not a big deal. If you're just a casual hiker and you want a good pack, this is going to be super comfortable, super adjustable, and I think you will do great in terms of how this feels on your back, whether it's a long day or a short day. So let's dive into the storage features. And again, this is really well thought out. It's not complicated, it's relatively simple, but everything just works, if I have to sum it up. Let's start with the hip belt pockets. There are 2 of them. And the zippers, all of the zippers are these beefy zippers that have the hook in there with the reinforced plastic. And you can use the hip belt pockets while you're wearing it. You can close it. You might have to hold it a little bit, but you can open them and close them relatively easy. The hip belts also, maybe this is more of a comfort feature, but the hip belt cinches on and you can easily tighten it or loosen it. On the outside, we have these 2 mesh pockets on either side. These are great. They will hold a smart water bottle. You can reasonably reach them with your hand. If you reach back, you can go in there and get them. There's also a compression cinch on top if you want to lash something down. I did an overnighter with this, and I had my tent and the tent poles in here, and it fit pretty well on the outside as well. So that's great. 2 pockets on the back, especially if you like to bring water. Also on the back is this big mesh pocket that opens up here. You can see I got the hydration tube in there, but you can see it's a nice big mesh pocket, and I would use this to bring my rain shell, and if it got wet and I needed to take it off after it stopped raining, I could put it in here. It's vented, it's mesh. It didn't get everything wet, and it kind of dried out a little bit. So this big pocket is great for stuff. There is also a hook on the bottom, a little loop, and a bungee here, and some compression up here, where you can put hiking poles on the outside or an ice axe. That worked really well if you want to carry them on the outside. This is great for that. So up top, we have this big pocket where you can fit some snacks, a headlamp, some stuff that you need to get to quickly. Also, if you want to have sunglasses, they have the strap here, which they market as a sunglass holder. I don't know which one it is. One of these you can clip your sunglasses on. Okay, I guess. Now, the main compartment on this has a U-shaped zipper. Once I pull this down, you'll be able to see it. And what that lets you do is you can come in at the sides too. You can pull it down on the side and just put your hands in there to get at stuff on the bottom if you really need to. But otherwise, there's not much to say about the interior side, that it's one big pocket. Now I would generally put my essentials, like my emergency stuff, on the bottom and then put my layers on top. But one big pocket. If you wanted to organize it a little more, you could just put stuff sacks in there. Not a big deal. And one thing I like about the inside is that there's this inside pocket here that has a key lanyard. So this is a great place to store your keys and your wallet when you go hiking. You can put it in here and then close your pack up, and you're never going in and out of a place where they are. So it's a good way to ensure that your keys and your wallet are always safe. Again, a really thoughtful feature that I like about this pack. And then it has an internal hydration pocket right here that you could fit any bladder in. But the one thing to note is that it has this proprietary Gregory hook right there, which if you have the Gregory hydration bladder, works great. It just hooks on like that, and you don't have to buckle anything. Works much easier. But if you have an Osprey hydration bladder or something else that doesn't have a hook, you're not going to be able to hold it up with this with this system. You might be able to rig something up there with a rubber band or with that, but this is really made for the hydration system from Gregory, which is great, by the way. Works pretty much as expected. I've been on the bite valve a million times, and the bite valve never breaks. It's got a magnet to connect to the sternum strap. Overall, a really solid bladder, sort of no frills, but just works really well. So that's the interior. I would say if you really wanted to make this pack great, I like the pockets for the hydration bladder to be on the exterior out here, because that way if you need to refill them, you don't really have to unpack your pack. But the way this is cut, because it has a trampoline back, most of the things in there will sort of sink to the bottom. So in terms of getting this hydration sleeve in and out when this has stuff in it, it's actually not too bad. But again, if it was on the outside, I think it would be much better. Now, one other thing to mention is that it comes with a rain cover right here, and it's in this pouch on the outside, which again, very thoughtful, right? Because it's on the outside. You're not going to want to dig inside for it. And this is the cover, and it's your standard rain cover that you can put on the pack. Now, this is cool. I haven't had great luck with rain covers. I've found that something like a pack liner, which is a waterproof pack liner that goes inside, is much more effective at keeping my gear dry. When I have used the pack cover in the past, you know, rain always finds a way to seep in and get in, and it kind of sometimes it can collect on the inside of the rain cover. So just having an outside pocket and accepting that the outer pack will get wet is what I live with these days. But it's nice to have. You have it in there if you need it. Otherwise, you can use that storage for something else. So that's it. That's the Gregory Zulu 30. I think for most people, this will be a great one pack to have for all of your hiking needs. Highly recommend it. You know, I've tried other ones. I'm not recommending them because I think this one's a great pack, especially at this price point. It will last you years and years, and I think you'll be very happy with it. Now, if you have any questions, just ask them in the YouTube comments. I will do my best to answer them. And if you have experiences with this pack or another day pack that you want me to check out, leave it in the comments as well. I'm always looking for input and new gear to check out. So anyway, guys, hope this video was helpful. Shoot me a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you out on the trails. Bye.